SyrupDrop. I'm Jessica Bamiero, and this is my colleague, Rose Bahar.
Hey everybody.
And it's been an interesting week in Canadian tech, starting with the Waterloo-based Pebble.
That's right, rest in peace, Pebble. It looks like those smartwatches are going to be no longer since it was acquired by Fitbit.
And it's interesting that the Waterloo-based tech company was actually acquired for $40 million after receiving an offer for $740 million from Citizen not long ago.
That's right, and if my math is correct, that is $700 million more than the current offer.
And Pebble had been rumored to be experiencing some financial difficulties over the course of the past year, though nobody really expected Fitbit to acquire the company and take just 40% of their staff with them to the Fitbit head office.
That's right. It seemed like for Fitbit, this was really more of an engineering and a talent acquisition. Mm-hmm. They might not keep the platform, they might not keep very much of the actual brand at all. So, sayonara Fitbit, it was nice to know you. You made a lot of beautiful watches.
You did indeed, and it looks like Pebble's founder will be going to work for Y Combinator, am I correct?
Right. That's very true, which is a great place to work and sounds very interesting, but it's still sad because obviously as a founder, that's never what you want to happen to your beloved baby.
Rest in peace, Pebble. And in other news this week, it looks like on December 15th, Note 7 users will be forced to stop using their phones.
That's right. The Note 7 will become a very expensive and a very dangerous paperweight.
Well, Samsung will be releasing an update that will prevent your Note 7 from charging as of December 15th, but not every carrier has decided to release this update to their users.
That's right. When it comes to the US of A, because the States always has to do a little something snazzy, Verizon said, I don't think so. I think the holiday season is for family and for safety, and we're not going to go with that update, Samsung.
It's interesting because Verizon cited their main reason as being people are traveling this time of year and they need their phones to stay in touch with loved ones. But the Note 7 is not allowed on planes, so...
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, none of the carriers in Canada have professed that they are going to do this, but it's still an interesting move, and maybe we'll keep our eyes out and see if anybody does sort of make any protestations here in Canada.
I guess we'll see, but in the meantime, while 90% of Canadians have returned their Note 7, maybe this latest update will get the other 10% to send theirs back also.
Please, guys, it's just not dangerous. I know you might love your Note 7. It was a really great phone. But it's not worth the possibility of scorching your hands off.
But that's not the only thing that happened with Samsung this week. This week actually brought the end of what some have been calling the tech trial of the century. Back in 2011, Apple sued Samsung for copying some of the features of the iPhone that we now see featured in almost every smartphone made nowadays.
Basically, like the rectangular device with rounded corners, a colorful grid of apps.
Yeah, that sounds very unique.
A front-facing bezel. I mean, these are just the elements of a modern-day smartphone.
Yeah, and we forget that Apple actually invented the smartphone back in 2007 with the first release of the iPhone. I'm sorry, Android users, I know you don't want to hear it, but unfortunately this is the case. But what actually took place this past week is that over the course of the past few years, Apple has repeatedly been awarded this victory over Samsung, and what that amounted to was the whole of Samsung's profit for their smartphone, $399 million. The Supreme Court said no. They just threw it out and sent the case back down to a lower court for reevaluation.
I mean, they just didn't want to deal with that garbage anymore. They were just tired of it. I mean, I get it, like the Android users, wait, don't come after us. There were previous to the iPhone, yes, there were smartphone type attempts. But come on, Apple is snazzy about it, and we have to admit that they drove innovation. So now what are we going to do when it comes to the future? We can't just sort of always fight about these features that are very common to all smartphones. We've got to be less vague about the individual qualities.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole trial has brought to light the question of whether patent law is actually too vague and whether we need to start being less picky about who adopts these features. And I mean, another great case is with smartwatches. They're all very similar. They all do very similar things. They all even look fairly similar to each other. But nobody has launched a $399 million patent case over any one of those.
That's right. And I guess that's all we have for you this week. Make sure to tune back in next week. And in the meantime,
smash that like button.
That's right. Now it's Jess's catchphrase. And make sure to let us know if you have any great ideas for t-shirt quotes, because I'm just silk screening away in my basement. I really am. I am doing it, guys. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
See you next week.